afternoon, everyone. My name is Natalie Stone, and I serve as an assistant director in the Office of Student Involvement. We are really excited to have you with us today. We are doing another 90 Stories for 90 Years, which is celebrating 90 years of DePaul being, of FSL being on DePaul's campus. And so I'm really excited to have Caroline with us today. So Caroline, do you want to kick us off and introduce yourself a little bit?
For sure. So I'm Caroline. I graduated from DePaul in November of 2017, majoring in public relations and advertising. I'm originally from St. Louis, and I was part of the Sigma Alpha Chapter on campus.
So why did you choose DePaul? Coming from St. Louis, there's a lot of options in St. Louis. So why did you choose DePaul?
Definitely. So I wanted that college experience, but I also wanted to be in a city. So one of my things in high school, I was fascinated with the idea of living in a big city. So I found DePaul because it was kind of that best of both worlds, where I could still do traditional college activities like joining a sorority, but also really jumpstart my professional career and doing internships while also attending classes. So it really gave me the best of what I wanted to experience. So it seemed like a natural fit.
I think that's a really good point, that so many students do come to DePaul to, have that experience outside the classroom, whether that be joining a fraternity or sorority or the DePaul Activities Board or all the organizations we have, but then also being able to really integrate with the city and have an internship, within your first couple quarters at DePaul.
It's a really nice opportunity that I don't think in necessarily a state school, you'd wait till the summer really to then move and do an internship. But here at DePaul, you could do one as soon as your second quarter even.
So what does it mean to you to be a Blue Demon?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to the previous question a little. It's that combination of being real world ready. I know DePaul uses that a lot. It's a great education, not just in your major, but also gaining more of that business professional skill set as well. So I think there's an underlying sense that you're not only doing good for your school and getting involved on-campus activities, but there's also that sense of you're part of the greater Chicago community. So you're giving back to them as well.
So you've talked a lot about really being able to take your career head on while at DePaul. So tell us what you've been up to since graduating DePaul.
Definitely. So since graduating, I actually went back to school to get my master's in marketing at Northwestern, and now I am in brand management working for Ferrero. So they own Ferrero Rocher, Nutella, Kinder, but I specifically work on the Chicago brand. So Fannie Mae is here in Chicago. So very exciting time. Holiday season's big for us right now, but definitely goes back to my roots in public relations, really wanting to work on a brand that people know and love and getting to put out some of those activities that you see in the market.
Very cool. And so how did your experience in Alpha Sigma Alpha or Panhellenic help you achieve your career goals?
So I'd say it really gave me those fundamental building blocks to future leadership experience. So it really helped me gain that confidence, that collaboration skill set, agreeing to disagreeing, working constructively to reach that common end goal. So I really think all the positions I held in my chapter and across Panhellenic, it's really stimulating those real world situations, whether it's, working internally in your chapter or with the larger Panhellenic organization. And it's similar to, working internally with your team, working with outside agencies. So you're kind of understanding how teams work and those kind of skills that you need and understandings to really, talk about yourself, get your ideas out there, working with others. I'd also say that recruitment is a really big part of what you're doing really every day, because you're constantly not only selling yourself, but you're selling your ideas, finding that common ground, really getting to know the values, and making small talk even is a really big thing that you learn. So I think everything that I experienced in sorority life has translated one way or another into what I do every day.
So you talked about a lot of the lessons that you learned in being an FSL leader, but what was kind of the most challenging but also rewarding part of being a leader within the FSL community?
Definitely. So I think the most rewarding was just being able to collaborate with a ton of different individuals, ones that are, like-minded, like yourself, that are really in your chapter, that have those same values, but then across the board, those same women that have those higher values, but you're getting to, collaborate with them, whether it's on an activity at school or an event that you're putting on in the sorority, and getting their help and support is something that I really found to be super rewarding, not just at my time there, but my time looking back and thinking about all the great experience that I had with those people. So I would say that I think the most challenging part of, being in Panhellenic and sorority life and taking on those leadership roles is, I think it's a double-edged sword. You're gaining that confidence that really, you'll take with you long past your days in fraternity and sorority life. But in the beginning, you are working with people who may be older than you. You may be leading those who are younger than you. So you're really understanding your dynamic and who you are as a leader, which I think is very introspective as well, that you will take with you.
I think that's such a good point, because you learn how to manage your peers, and sometimes in your professional job, you will become very close with coworkers, but you also have to manage them. And so learning how to separate the friend part and then also the business part as well. I think it's such a great time to learn and make mistakes in fraternity and sorority life before you are doing that in the real world.
Yes, definitely lower stakes, but that's a good point. Definitely dividing up personal and professional.
What does sisterhood mean to you?
I think the main takeaway from the sisterhood experience would be that you're there for them in the good times, but also in the hard times. And also there's really nothing too little to celebrate. So whether, you're going to the stew just to grab a celebratory bagel because you did well on an exam, or, you spent a lot of time planning this event for your sorority, and then, you really get to see it come to life, and your sisters are there like, yeah, you did that. Like, this is great. But also, what can you learn from? So I would just say having that group of people that you can go to, and that I'm still very much in touch with today, that have really shaped me to be the person that I am.
That's awesome. I think you brought up a really good point about celebrating the small and the big wins, and then being there, when things are going the best either. And so I think sometimes we can get so caught up in jumping from one thing to the next and forgetting to celebrate. And I think that's something that FSL does well. They do take some time to slow down a little bit and really celebrate each other's successes.
For sure.
So we have virtual Panhellenic recruitment coming up in about a month. So, very different than the traditional process that has been done for years. And so what would your advice be for someone who is interested in joining, or is kind of on the fence if they're not sure if they should go through a recruitment process?
I would say just try it out. I know this year's looked different in a lot of ways, and it'll probably continue to look some sort of way in the future, but you never know if you don't try. And even if you may really want to join, you may be hesitant, you may have never really thought about it. I say take every opportunity and experience that comes your way, and it could be the one that really, makes your college experience and helps you in ways you didn't even know. So try it out. You may meet your best friend on that first virtual night of recruitment, and you don't even know it yet, but it never hurts to really just put yourself out there, and you can end up learning a lot.
So what is your favorite DePaul memory outside of fraternity and sorority life?
Definitely. So I took advantage of doing some study abroad trips. So I would have to say my time in Switzerland. I did a short-term one over winter break one year, and that we studied nonprofits in Switzerland. So it's pretty fun to, collaborate with people outside of, that bubble that I'd been in, but also get to see a new area of the world. So traveling is a big passion of mine. So getting to do that at DePaul and really study something that's near and dear to, the DePaul Blue Demon, mantra of giving back to the community, but in Switzerland where it's really lived and breathed every day.
That's awesome. I think DePaul does such a good job with creating a lot of different study abroad opportunities. You can go for a whole quarter or even a whole year, or if you just want to take, that short time during the winter break, there is an opportunity for you. And so I think you made a really good point of saying, take advantage of all that DePaul offers, because you're not going to be able to study abroad for, months on end once you graduate from DePaul, unless, maybe somebody has a sabbatical option, which is
very nice, yes.
But a lot of times that isn't an opportunity, so being able to take advantage of that while your schedule does allow it. So as we wrap up, what was your favorite memory of being part of your organization?
Besides from all the people that I got to meet, I would definitely say our retreat. So our fall retreat was really a big one where we'd go away, get away from the city, stay in cabins, do a whole camping bit. But I think that's really when I got to know people that maybe I didn't interact with on a daily basis, who may have been older or younger than me. And it really gave me time to get to really reconnect with those values that all bond us and get to know somebody maybe on a more personal level than, going to chapter every Sunday night or just going to some activities on the weekend. So you're really kind of isolated with just those people, and they really are your people because you joined that chapter for a reason. So I think it's a really good time, the start of every school year, to just get away and reflect.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people's favorite memories is their time when they are maybe not like actively going to a philanthropy event or a semi-formal. It's that time that you can kind of get away from everything and spend time with your brothers and sisters.
Quality time for sure.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Caroline, this afternoon. We really appreciate it, and we continue to wish you the best of luck in your professional and personal career journey. We are going to have another 90 Stories for 90 Years interview today at 3:00 with Vanessa. Vanessa is alumni of Delta Gamma, and she's going to share her story from moving from Chicago to DC. So come back at 3:00 to hear more about her story. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.